affected by these teenagers, and those consequences were swift: cold, hunger, and discomfort. Nature did not care about the style of their particular manipulative behavior. When they became aware of the uselessness of proving that they were helpless, stupid, a failure, or innocent of responsibility, growth and change became possible. No longer being successful at controlling the world opens a wonderful door of opportunity. I was present for hundreds of awakenings. I nudged souls. I got to blow on the coals of simmering fires and be there as they burst into flame, awake with potential and the ability to be themselves. I was a missionary for epiphany, the best job I could ever want. In Idaho, I also met Wendy, blue-eyed and full of life. Being together was simple, effortless, and natural. After the initial lust wore off, we still liked each other. We even became friends. Then we got married. Wendy came with a son, Stefan. He was 9 and had a big laugh like his mom. He was as good a kid as any to become an instant parent to. I'd grown up watching the Brady Bunch, and I thought I knew all about parenthood. But there was, as I came to realize, much more that I didn't know. Ugly scenes dealing with the ex, for example, a problem I thought happened only to the parents I counseled at work. The book I wrote with my dad became a bestseller. I got my 15 minutes of fame, along with a bunch of money. We bought a big house in a resort town. We lived a normal life for 2 years. And then I got lost somewhere between my 20-horsepower fuel-injected 4-wheel drive weed whacker and the 13 separate sprinkler zones surrounding my estate. I worried a lot about Zone 6. I came to prefer the sprinklers fwap, fwap, fwap to the rain. I was lost. I thought of Coleridge. Will no one hear these stifled groans and wake me? That fall, I called my publisher to inquire about my next royalty check. It had been so long since I'd worried about the numbers to the right of the comma that the answer from New York, $5,200, was stunning. That was almost, but not quite, what I needed for just 2 months of mortgage payments. It seemed my 15 minutes of fame and riches were over, and I had spent all my riches. I was holding a bottle of Southern Comfort before the phone was hung up. You probably won't find Southern Comfort in your liquor cabinet, and there is a good reason for this. As a teenager, you got just a little too much one time, and the smell or the thought of it triggers something deep in your belly. The first, second, and third shots burn like a damp cannon fuse in my gut. I'd been letting a friend keep her horse in our pasture. I hadn't really met Lacey yet. I knew just that she was something called a paint. Feeling quite splashed at the moment, I found this appealing. Her nose was softer than any part of Wendy I'd yet found, so I quickly bonded with her. Although she would not drink from the now half bottle offered, I knew she liked me. In fact, I knew she loved me, and I distinctly remember yelling, "I love you too, Wendy," as Lacey walked away with me lying on her back, Wendy upside down. With my head resting on Lacey's fine and musty-smelling rump, I was happy. There is a little Ahab in us all, not content with any old whale, but in search of the big one. Rather than a comfortable walk on an old horse, I had to gallop. I'd seen enough TV in my life to know what that looked like. So I sat up and told Lacey that I loved her very much, and would she please giddy-ap for me? I believe what happened next went something like this. Horse moves along fence line with fat balding man hugging her mane and murmuring gibberish. Horse moves faster and man bounces up to sitting position, enthusiastically crying, "Gee up, little pony, go a little faster." It's not so much that I flew over her head and landed like a fillet of seal blubber that upsets me still. It's that Lacey broke my splashy trust in her by stopping on a dime, which was suddenly several feet behind me. I flew. I saw my feet silhouetted against clouds, experienced a very abrupt deceleration, and then stared unblinking into a pair of huge horse nostrils. A fly flew out of one. And that's when it occurred to me that maybe this lifestyle was no longer working for me. I needed a way. And that meant distance from the known and the comfortable. Distance from habit. It was like the opening of Moby Dick. Whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself